This video is aimed at supporting parents when they are making the decision of when to give their child a phone and access to the online world. When phones and the internet first came out, it was almost as if having a phone was a rite of passage, that we would hand our child a phone at the age of, say, 11 or 12 as a stepping stone into secondary school, but we didn't prepare them. And now the research shows us of the risks that we're taking. So now moving forward, now that we have the data, it's really important that you make sure your child is ready. Just like in the real world, we're preparing them to be independent, we have to do the same in the online world. So imagine their first step of independence is that you're going to send them to the shop on their own. But you wouldn't do that unless you knew they knew how to cross the road, that they knew the route there and back, that they knew about stranger danger, that they could actually look after their money, and that they knew what to do if something bad would happen. Once you knew all those things, then you would let them have that first venture out on their own. And there are similar checklists that we have to have in place before we hand them out onto the online world. The biggest online risks that they are going to be exposed to are cyberbullying, being exposed to inappropriate content, online predators, scams and phishing, oversharing personal information, and excessive screen time. So these are the things that we have to ensure they are aware of and can remain safe. There are some rules that you can establish straight away, such as no devices in the bedroom, so that you're always able to supervise what they're doing. Honesty versus transparency. How much do you want to know? How much do you trust them? Do you want to simply be able to check over their shoulder and see what they're doing, or maybe occasionally look at their history? Or do you want to just have fluid conversations where you can check in and have open and honest conversations about it? That's your choice. One of the rules that I think really needs to be employed is that there are no interactions or interruptions while studying, because this will really affect their capacity to learn and retain the information that they're studying. And definitely there needs to be limited screen time, because the children just aren't have the maturity level to monitor that themselves. And something that I work with my families that I work with, are contracts, where before the device is handed over, you sit down, you set out rules and parameters that must be followed and reviewed. There have been a lot of studies, and we have a lot of data now that shows the negative impact of social media on young people. A great book that goes into this in detail is The Anxious Generation. It has really scary results in here, so if you haven't already, please read this. But one of the things you need to ask yourself when you're considering if your child is ready for social media is, can they handle responsibility? So think about how they are in the real world and then apply this to the online world. So can they already respect the rules at home and school? If they can, okay, this is a good sign. Can they manage responsibilities such as homework without constant reminders? Do they understand actions have consequences? And are they honest about their online activity? If these are all yeses, then maybe they are ready for social media. Something really important to consider is their emotional maturity and their self-worth. How good are they at managing their emotions? How high is their confidence and self-worth? Can they bounce back from conflict? Can they handle criticism without shutting down for days on end? Are they overly affected by peer approval? Do mean comments really get to them and upset them and damage their self-worth? You know, these are really hard things for everybody, but particularly young people. And if this is already a challenge for your child, please don't put them on social media where they're going to be exposed to this potentially daily. Something else you really need to be considering is how good are they at respecting boundaries and limits, particularly with the devices. So do they follow the screen time rules? Do they put the devices away when you ask them to? Or are there major conflicts around screen use and how long they can be on the screens? If there are already battles around using the device, then adding social media will just create more problems. And finally, are you ready? Are you ready to monitor this and have difficult conversations and enforce consequences and check them and be on top of them? Because If you're not ready to supervise, then they're not ready to have it independently. This is a big undertaking for both you and your child. There are signs to look out for to see if they are not ready, and if they're not ready, then just wait. And waiting isn't a punishment, it's protection. So have a think about, do they struggle with emotional regulation? Do they struggle with their confidence and self-worth? Do they respect boundaries and limits? Do they have a tendency to be unkind to their peers? Do they have a difficulty handling peer pressure? And if you're not really sure, because obviously our children show us one side of them, maybe you need to find out more about them in a social context. So please reach out and ask their teachers and their coaches how they do behave and how they interact in social situations. And this will give you a good indication if they're ready for those social situations in the online world. It's also worth considering that many young people aged 18 to 25 are actually saying that they really wished their parents had been firmer with them when they were younger and not handed them the phone so easily. But hey, we can't go back in time, but we can learn from other people's experiences. And just remember that when you're giving them access to a device and the internet, that you're not just giving them access to the outside world, you're giving the outside world access to your child. So please take extreme caution. I don't want to scare you, but there are many cases, many studies out there, and we really do have to be careful. This is the biggest threat our children have in their day-to-day life. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you found it useful. If you would like any further information or have any questions, please feel free to contact me.